if you give a get, a person has two wives but with the same names, and he says to the sofer that have in mind that whichever one I choose to divorce, it should be for her. So the Mishnah says it's not valid to get. Why? The Mishnah says let's lay Vaeira. This is Rabbi Yehuda. Rabbi Yehuda says he doesn't know Vaeira mean. If it's not clear initially when it's written for which one of the wives, even though he said whichever one I will decide, that's not sufficient. It's not sufficient. So Gemara had asked. So Gemara had said. The Gemara wanted to differentiate, and Rabbi Yehuda says there's another case. Yeah. There were two cases. There was a case we had if a person says the get should be whichever one walks out of the house first, right? Leaves the entrance of the house. The two things. Whichever one I decide, whichever one walks out of the house. If he decides, that's called Toila B'das Atzmo. He's the determining factor. There, she's the determining factor. So more originally want to say maybe there's a difference between the two of them. That what? Maybe Toila B'das Acherim, then it's valid. Toila B'das Atzmo, it's not valid. So Gemara says, what do you mean? No, the Gemara says, no, it's one and the same. So Gemara says, yep. Where is it? Over here on the bottom. Yeah. Where do we see Rabbi Yehuda? It's told das asman leslei breiro. Rabbi Yehuda says it goes saying this. What do you mean? Rabbi Yehuda himself says told das atzmo, which is the Mishnah says doesn't know the breiro. He says whichever one I decide. Rabbi Yehuda says in the Mishnah it's not a valid get. But yet we find Rabbi Yehuda says by what's his name? By tithing wine, which is breira, over there it does work. The Tanya will start. There's a barrel of wine, and let's say there are 100 gallons. He says, 2 that I will take, that should be truma. Asur maiserishin, 10 should be maiserishin, tisha maisesheni, umeichel biyad div Rameir. Okay? So Rameir holds clearly breira. Rameir says that you could what? You could tithe it, and you're permitted to drink the wine on Shabbos, even though you're not going to know which until Motzei Shabbos. Rabbi Yehuda, Rabbi Yosef, Shimon, Osrin. They said no. So what is this? This is Toleh B'das Atzmo.
So he knows for himself.
No, he's taken it for himself. So this is consistent with the Mishnah. Whichever one I decide to divorce, this says to get the good. Told das acherim. Islay breira. What's the case? Told das acherim. Then mahi bos na yomim. Rabbi Yehuda Mari Keshasish Chol Dvoreo. Ulchimayis Havigito. Right? What's the case? Right? A person gives a get to his wife. He says the get should be a get from now, retroactive, if I die of a certain illness. Here he gives his wife a get. This get should be a get if I die from a certain illness. If I don't die of the illness, then it should not be a get. So now the question is, as long as he's not well, what is his status? The get doesn't take effect till he dies.
Right.
And he has to die of that illness. Then it's going to be retroactive. It's going to be a get when he gave it to her. It can't take effect after he dies because she's no longer his wife. He can't divorce her. Right? So it's meaning if he dies of that illness, retroactive. So what is she in the interim? We don't know what it's going to be because it could be retroactive. It could be not. It could be not. Right? So it says, what is she during this period of time? Her status is she's like a married woman during this period of time. But when he dies, the get is going to take effect retroactive. Right?
Okay.
So what is that? That's Tola B'das Acherim. Correct? That's meaning, whether he dies from that illness, it's not up to him.
No.
That's up to Hashem.
Right?
The truma that I will take, that's himself. The wife which I decide to divorce, that's himself. But the dying, if he should die, that's up to Hashem if he should die, right? So it says over there, it's a get. Omalei Reb Shashli Rovo. So the Gemara says, you see clearly, even Rabbi Yehuda doesn't hold the breira in one situation, he holds the breira in the other situation. Omalei Reb Shashli Rovo, Reb Shimon told b'das atzmo leslei breiro, but told b'das acher mislei breiro. And Reb Shimon also, when it's told b'das atzmo, he doesn't hold the breira. But when it's dependent on things, he does the breira. Where? Hadamoran. Hadamoran says, told b'das atzmo leslei breiro hadamoran, because he's one of the three. It says Reb Yehuda, Reb Yosef, Reb Shimon says you cannot tithe it. Right? You cannot tithe in advance and drink the wine. So we've already stated Reb Shimon, he doesn't know the Vaeira where it's dependent on himself. The two which I will take. Told us Acher Mislei Vaeira, the Tanya. Hareini Boalech Al Mnashi Yutza Abba. Here he has relations with a woman to consummate the marriage on the condition that your father's agreeable that you should be my wife. You hear this? It's a conditional marriage. The Torah says a man could acquire a woman one of three ways. So he says, I will have relations with you on the condition that your father's agreeable to this marriage. Api shlo rotza av mukudeshes. It says the halacha is even if the father was not agreeable, she's married.
Right.
Okay? Reb Shimon Yudo Mishum Reb Meir, rotza av mukudeshes. If the father was agreeable, she's married. Lo rotza av eina mukudeshes. So what's this? This tolub das acherim. Right? The marriage is contingent on what? When the father's agreeable. Reb Shimon says that what? If the father's agreeable, yes. If not, not. But if we just said Reb Shimon doesn't know the Vaeira, right? Because he says the 2 pints that I will tithe. It's nothing. So why over there is it something? Right? So again, so we see we're separate. We're splitting the two. So the one answer is, the truth is, whether it's Reb Yehuda or Reb Shimon, lo shno tol das atz, lo shno tol das achir. It's irrelevant whether it's dependent on himself, dependent on others. Is lei Vaeira. Is lei Vaeira. He holds a Vaeira. V'osam ketoni time. You know why? But by the barrel, it's not valid the tithing. Hosam ketoni time. Omru lo l'remei yato modeshem yibok hanod. What would be? He says the 2 that I will tithe Motzei Shabbos will be truma. What happens? The barrel bursts. So that means it's revealed retroactively. It was never meant to pay. It was never meant to be taken.
Right.
So how do you allow the man to drink? On Shabbos, if the barrel bursts, that means he's drinking tevel. So it's not because they hold it. They hold a Vaeira. Factually, you could affect it that way.
Right.
But we're concerned it may not turn out the way you think it's going to turn out. Because if the barrel bursts, that means retroactively it's meant, it was never meant to be tithed. Amr lo l'rmei etam odeshem yibok hanod. V'nipsis shows the tevel l'maftolim afreya. And if it bursts, that means it reveals it was never meant to be tithed.
Right.
So you drink tevel. Amalem, so Meir says, L'shiboka. I'm worried about if it bursts. I'm not concerned it's going to burst. So if you're not concerned if it's going to burst, so that means it's a valid tithing. And so everybody agrees Vaeira. There's no difference. Tol das atz, tol das acherim. Vaeira works. Except here, this is a unique case. What's the case? Because we're concerned it may not turn out to be the way you thought it would be. Just 2 seconds. Yeah. Okay. Mishnah. Hakosef Tofsei Gitin. A person writes that Tofis is the non-essential part of the get. It's like the form. Tzorach sheniach mokom ho'ish or mokom ha'isha mokom hazman. You have to leave the spaces. Why? Because that's the essential of the get. The name of the husband, name of the wife, and the location, and also the date. Because without that, the get's not a valid get. All the others is just boilerplate. Right? It's just text.
Yes.
Shtori milver. What about if it's a loan document, right? And the sofa wants to just write forms. What is he permitted to insert in that document? So sheniach mokem hamalve. Of course, you can't say Reuven lent Shimon money. It didn't take place yet, right? He has to leave the location of the lender. Mokem halove, mokem hamos, the amount of money. Mokem hazman, the location for the time. What if it's mekach? It's a purchasing document like a deed. A deed. So sheniach mokem halokeach, the purchaser. Mokem hamos, the seller. Mokem hamos, how much is he paying for the field? Right? Mokem hasodeh, the location of the field, which field is he selling? Or mokem hazman, and the location for the date. That's mnei takona. That's mnei takona. Gemara will explain. Rabbi Yehuda posed b'kula. Rabbi Yehuda says no. You cannot even write the tofis. Every one of this. Why? Because he's concerned that if you write that, you end up writing what you shouldn't write. Rabbi Loza machshir, Rabbi Loza b'kulon chutz migitin oshim. Shenema b'kosav lo lishma. Why? Yeah, this is even a tofis. If there it says kosav lo lishma, it has to be written specifically with the intent. Yeah. So the Gemara is going to ask a question. Kosav lo lishma, that's going on the Torah. That's on the essential. Here we're talking about it's the non-essential. So what is Rabbi Loza saying that by get it's not valid because of law? Kosev law is going in the essential part of the get. We're speaking over this is called the tofes. Tofes is the non-essential. Okay, we'll see. Omre b'do mishmuel. If we say sor sheniach af mokam harei muter scholodam. Now, what terminates the marriage? The husband saying you're permitted to marry anybody. When you take this document, so it's not mentioned in the Mishnah, but he says af mokom. He has to leave also the sofer harei muter. You're permitted to marry anyone. Rebbe Lezi, why? Dom im nesira karsi. Right, according to Rameh, you could take a get out of a trash can and give it. It's as long as the signatures were lishma, the actual text of the get is irrelevant. Okay, so why over here does it say he has to leave? What he has to leave also harei muter scholodam? Writing that means nothing, because according to the answer, Rabbi Lezer, edi mesira karsi. What gives the get its validity? It's not the writing. It's the what? It's passing it in front. Dom edi mesira karsi. Which means that the actual, what does Kosev mean? We have Rebbe Loza holds, Kosev means writing the text. Rebbe says Kosev means the signing. Okay? So that he says you have to leave the location of Harei Mutes Chol Odom, that's Rebbe Loza. Utricho. So the question is, what do you, if you have to leave you have to omit the names, according to who do you have to omit the names? According to Rebbe Loza also.
Right.
Because Rameh says you can take out of a trash can.
Right.
So what does he have to say that you have to leave the Mokum Harim B'Tesh L'Chol Odom? That's going like Rebbe Lozer.
Right.
It's understood. It's going. We've already said regarding everything else.
Right.
Shich Diashmin Hachkamais who Tikul Dukum Rebbe Lozer Diktoni and Kosin Uktoni Kosvil. It says Ein Kosvil Uktoni Kosvil. So what's the chiddush? Although you shouldn't write it, but what happens if he did write it? He left out the essential information. It's valid, right? Because it's a non-essential. But you would say maybe you shouldn't. It says what substantiates the get? It's those who sign on it. So I think that's what there's going to go mayor. Right? Right? So the answer is no. It's takona. With the Sefer Rebbe Lezer, Havi, Reishal Lav Rebbe Lezer, Tzricha, therefore you need both cases. You have to tell me the first case and second case, they're both, it's going like Rebbe Lezer. It's going like Rebbe Lezer. 1 second. Yeah. Further, it says in the Mishnah, says we spoke about 3 documents. There's the get, there's the loan document, there's the sale document. In every one of them, you have to leave out the names, the amount of money, right? That you have to leave out. And it says, and why? It says, because of what reason? Because there was an enactment. My takona, Omre B'Yosmin takona sofer. No. Mokum ne takona sofer. Rebbe Lezi, meaning. Because hitiru lichlav tofis shlo lishma, meaning, why do we even allow? Really, we should make a fence. We should make a fence. You write one, and you may write too much. The answer is because we want to make it easy for the sofer. All of a sudden, the person says he needs a get. The man has to start from scratch, and we don't allow him to write even the form of the non-essential. It takes a long time. So to make it easy for the sofer, we allow him to write the non-essential, and that's the overriding factor. We're not concerned he may actually write what he shouldn't write. Yeah? But how much do we allow him to write? Only the non-ubedin who, truthfully, afil tofis nami lo dichtov. We shouldn't even allow him to write even the non-essential. Of course, the non-essential may lead to the essential. But for the benefit of the sofer, to make it easy for him, we allow, that becomes the overriding factor, and we're not concerned. Okay? Shor Rabbanon. Review the Posel B'Kulan. Review the says, no, we don't want to take a chance. We don't take a chance. He writes one, it's inevitable he's going to write the other part. And if he writes the other part, it's not valid. Goza Tofisot to Torif. Yeah? He establishes a fence. We don't want you to write the non-essential, though on a Torah level it's permitted, because ultimately you may write the Torah which is the essential. That's the name, the date, and Harim Mutes Chol Odom. Gozu shtorasot to Gitin, and it says not only that, even by regular documents. We're concerned if you allow by regular documents, it'll be confused with Gitin. Rabbi Loza machshir b'kulon. Rabbi Loza says no, everything's okay. Chutz b'Gitin noshim, except for divorce. Why? Tofisot to Torif gozer. Because Tofisot to Torif by the get itself, we don't even want you to write the non-essential. Because there, if it's mixed up, you got a problem, right? Shtorasot to Gitin lo gozer, but we're concerned you can confuse an ordinary doc with a get not. So by get we make the gzero. By a regular star, we don't make the gzero. Now, how do we know? Rabbi Loza says, how do we know that by get it has to be written lishma? Because there's because of law. Mishnah concludes because of law lishma. Because of law lishma. It's difficult. Rabbi Loza says, the Gemara says, according to Rabbi Loza, why you're not permitted even to write the tofes, the non-essential, because it's because of law. So Gemara asks, what are you talking about? Because law is speaking about the torif. It's not the tofes. Here's the question. Norman. Because of law. Because it says because of law, that's why I make a gzero. Since the essential has to be written lishma, if I allow you to write the non-essential, ultimately you're going to write what you shouldn't write. You're following the two parts. The names, the date, that you're going to be married, that's the essential of the get. That has to be written lishma, according to Rabbi Loza, because there's a cause of it. It should be written for her. What about the non-essential? All the non-essential material in there, right? You permit it on Torah level. So why don't we even allow the non-essential? Because since it says by the essential, it has to be written specifically for her. That's the basis for the gzera. That's why I make a fence. Because if you write one, we're concerned you may write the whole thing, and if you write the whole thing, it's possible. Because Torah says because of law, it has to be specifically written for her. Okay.
So you're saying it has to be written
Only to the Torah, if the essential of the.
The whole get has to be written.
No. Howard, I need batteries. This is burnt out. His wife. He'll fill in all the information because he was never appointed to as the agent to write the get. Even without the witnesses, the cause of the get itself, the text, witnesses is the signatures. Rebbe Loza holds when Torah says v'kosav, it means the writing of the get, the text, not the signatures.
So what if someone calls a sofer on the phone and says, write me a get?
No problem. Then he's appointed.
The names in
and he tells them all no problem. But we're concerned, why can't he just make forms? Every combination of husbands, wives, and all that. The answer is because it has to be written lishma. And unless you're authorized to write it, it has no value.
Maybe the sofer put in the names before he actually is
right, but maybe but you should allow the tofes. They're non-essential. They're no names. The answer of Beloz is of concern because it says because of law by the essential. That's the basis for the offense. We don't even allow by the non-essential.
Where do the witnesses come in the context of the document?
According to Beloz, you don't need witnesses. It's Edi Masira. What gives the get its force is witnesses witness the transfer from the husband to the wife. Okay. So Mar asks, Kasher Rabbi Lozer.
But the witnesses don't have to know about the Lishma portion. They just see
No, right. No, don't have to know about the Lishma. Right. So now the Mar asks, Kasher Rabbi Lozer. The Mishnah starts off saying, Rabbi Lozer says you're permitted to write the tofes. That's the beginning. Then it concludes, and Rabbi Lozer says, the way we're interpreting it, because of law, that's the basis for the Gzer. We don't even allow the tofes. So we have a contradiction with Rabbi Lozer. The Mishnah starts saying, Rabbi Lozer says, Torah, if you can't write, tofes you could write. Then it concludes, no, because of law we make a Gzer, we don't even allow the tofes. So we have a stiro. Kash Rabbi Lozer. On that, the word says, Trei Tanoim Libid Rabbi Lozer. To Machluk's Tanoim, what did Rabbi Lozer actually say? Okay? Rab Shabsi Omar Chizkiyo Mishum Ketoto. Second, when it says in the Mishnah, what's his name? Mibnei Takon, it says, the way the Gemara answered, why do we allow the non-essential to be written in the get? Because of what? Takon, make it easy for the sofer. She shouldn't have to be too burdened. So Rab Shabsi says the name of Chizkiyo because Ketota. They're fighting. The husband and wife, they have a fight, right? The quarrel. Rega. Yeah. El tzorch shiniach koi b'niktak. The Mishnah is going, according to a mayor, Norman, are you permitted to insert the names in the get?
At what point?
Before. When you write the get.
Yeah.
You're allowed to write.
Yes.
Why? Because when Tosis because it means v'chosam. The signatures have to be l'shma.
Right.
But the actual Rebbe holds you can take a get out of a trash can. If it's unsigned, and use it for anybody you want, as long as the information is the same. So what's Mibnei Takona? But the Mishnah says everybody agrees you cannot put in the names. But according to a mayor, why can't you put in the names? You know why you can't put in the names? No, because the wife will find out the sofa has her information. They see. Now I found out something I didn't know. You have in mind to divorce me. So that'll cause an explosion between the husband and wife. We don't want a sofa to put in any essential information, because if a wife would find out what's going on, even though he may have not even authorized it, right? The sofa hears a husband and wife fight, arguing. Right away, he'll write up the get. All of a sudden, the wife finds out what says. You see, my husband's already planning to get rid of me. It'll cause a whole fight. So therefore, the takonis know that even on a Torah level, you're permitted to put in the names, but for the best interest of all parties, we don't allow it. Okay?
Put in the names, it's not lishma.
You don't need lishma, right? It's only the signatures. That's it. Ramei, yeah. Ramei, doma eidich simakar. You b'dinu dafil torf nami lichtov. Halachically, you're even permitted to write the Torah if the essential part of the get. But what's the problem? V'zim in the shomalei l'sofa to goksiv. She's going to find out the sofa's writing get with her information in it with her husband. The Sovro, and she'll think, Iyu Komale, he instructed the sofa to write up the get already. Right away it causes a fight between the husband and wife. It's interesting, many years ago, I always asked, it says that when Sarah laughed when she heard the Malach say she's going to have a child, what did she say? She said, Adoni Zokin. My masters. But when Hashem came to Avram and said, why did she laugh? She says, Ani Zokanti. So Hashem altered what she said. Why? It says, you're permitted to be Mishaneh Bnei Shalom. Because in Shalom Bayis, if Avram Avinu hears that his wife said that he's not capable, so Hashem says, she said, I'm old. So I asked the question, what? Avram Avinu and Sarah, do you think this would have put a damper on the relationship? Right? But you're allowed to be Mishanim Nei Shalom. You could change. There's not even a consideration over here. So what are we supposed to draw from here? Howard, you're the pontificator over here. What do you say?
You can't use emes as a bludgeon. You can't do that. You can alter it to have Shalom bias.
What does it do with Avram? What does it do with Avram and Sarah?
I'm addressing your story.
I'm asking.
For us.
Yeah.
That what?
That you can pledge the truth in order to have Shalom bias.
No, but what does it say? But Avram, Hashem didn't tell Avram the truth.
You were going to hurt his feelings.
Not hurt. No, Shalom. Shalom doesn't mean hurt his feelings.
No, I'm saying Shalom bias, but you're not accepting it.
Shalom Aleichem. You say Shalom Aleichem when you go and when you come. Say Shalom Shalom. Okay.
You're killing me today. What's it's a good thing
It's a good thing you don't live in Beis Lechem. It's a good thing. Okay. So what I said was, what we learned from here is, regardless of what we believe, you don't pass judgment on somebody else's shalom bias. Similar to what you're saying here. Of course, it wouldn't have affected Avram and Sarah, not as well. But Hashem did change it to teach us that although, based on your understanding, it's unshakable, and people can make comments, people make an evaluation. I can say anything I want because their shalom bias is unshakable. That's how stable it is. but nobody knows what's behind closed doors. You never know. That's what you learn from this. Of course, Avram wasn't, but you would think, Avram, it's not possible. The answer is only God knows that. You don't know that. Therefore, you don't make comments. You don't make comments. You never know what's going to cause a fight. So after they said it, so somebody told me a story from the Syrian community. The women, they reupholster many of the furniture every 2-3 years. Okay? So, and the husband didn't like it so much. Of course, the fortune. Said to his wife, you just did it. It's brand new. It's beautiful. So a guest came that day, same day that he said to her, he sees the couch. She says, you mean it's 2 years past? You still have the same upholstery? Same fabric? So when the person left, he says, you see, I told you. So he made a comment just in, a joking comment. But he didn't understand what that comment is going to bring about. I'm saying, people, they speak irresponsibly. Chazal worried, the sofer writes the form, puts in the information, the wife may find out, although the husband never instructed him, and that could cause World War III.
So, in other words, Rebbe saying, exercise leadership.
No, that's true.
Yeah.
Rav Chisda Omer Avim Shem Takonos Agunos. The other way. The reason why we allow the sofer to write the tofes is was Takonos Agunos. What's Takonos Agunos? She'll remain a chained widow. Right? If let's say that he comes, the husband's impatient. I want to give a get quick. You're not ready? I'm out of here. What happens if the husband goes out of town? He abandons his wife. She has a problem. But Takonos Sats would be very good if you hold 8a Basira Karsi. Amrilo Rameir, Amrilo Rebbeloza. This thing, what we say is because Takonos Agunos, to help the woman, she shouldn't remain a bound widow. Amrilo Rameir, Doma 8 Chasima Karsi. Ubedinu dafil torf nami lichtov. Truth is, according to Rameir, they could even write the Torah, even the essential. Why? The vizim davle ktoto bado, because they may cause a fight. V'rosach halo, hear this? V'zorak lo nelo um'agen umosif lo. What's going to be? What happens? You have the Torah written. Husband gets into a fight with his wife, and if the get is ready to go, all need signatures. We'll give it to her immediately and get rid of her. But we won't want to prevent that. So you know something? We want to slow it down a little bit. It shouldn't be ready to go. Ready to go. He goes eats McDavid burgers. Ready to go. Right? Drive through. Okay? Meaning, as she's without a husband. Truth is, you shouldn't even write even the non-essential. What happens if the husband's going overseas? He's not be able to a sofer to write the whole text. Vishovik law, so he'll leave her over. I got to get at it. I'm going.
Right.
There's no sofer. Hope for the best.
Right.
Hope for the best. She was stuck for the rest of life, not being able to remarry. Therefore, we allow the tofis to be written, and we're not concerned about that he may write the Torah.
Right.
For the sake of the woman, she shouldn't remain a bound widow. Okay?
So
You following, Norman?
One thing troubles you just in the text here, that if the get was ready made, and throws it to her in a fit of anger, she would let the Aguna, but...
No, Aguna, that means she'll remain without a husband. The arrow means she'll remain without she won't be Aguna. Just the opposite.
But she's gotten the get. He's thrown it.
Yeah, so Rashi says it's complete.
So where they-
No, so Rashi says, Ma'agin lo, what's going to have to be Kishimu Gereshes. Most lo Kishimu Gereshes. I mean, he'll leave her over without a husband. That's the Ma'agin law. She'll remain husbandless. It does.
He's given her the get.
I understand that. She won't have a husband any longer. The word agun here doesn't mean what it normally means. It says mokum asman. You have to leave out the date. The date cannot be inserted. Koposik v'toni lo shno min hanisul lo min ha'erusin. What about he divorces her from? They only had the betrothal.
And then he divorces.
What?
And then he divorces.
The divorce document, the marriage was never a full marriage. They never went to chuppah. Do you have to have a date in there? Now, why did we have a date earlier? We said because of payros, because the husband has rights to eat the fruit. right? All the properties. That only happens if you're fully married. If you only have kedushin, he doesn't get that.
Right.
So if that's the case, you shouldn't need it. You could even put the zman in. The zman is irrelevant when it's a real,
Okay.
right? So that's the question. Erison. See, the Mishnah doesn't differentiate the get whether you divorce her after Erison, whether you divorce her after Nesuin. You cannot put the date in the get. There is, they both apply. If she commits adultery, right? We want the date to know that he can't cover her.
Right.
Of course, when she's compared to get, she committed adultery before the date.
Mhm.
I mean, she's an adulteress. If it's Paris, also.
Right.
If she's fully married, he'll be able to cheat her on the what? On the money that he took from her properties. Element Ersin. What about Ersin? What do you need? Okay, that's the same problem. Woman commits adultery after Kedushin. It's adultery. So you have to have a date. She shouldn't be able to cover for herself. What do you need a date for? Right? The husband never eats Paris. He only gets the Paris after Chuppah, after Nesuin. He says, Rambam says, I heard this from Ulo. Takon is Vlad. Because Takon is Vlad. He said, it's because of the child. The child that's going to be born. He said, but I don't know what that meant. Came the Shmisel Tanya when I heard this Bryce, and I understood what he meant. What Ula meant. Ome Kisu get la Rusasi. Here, he says, write a get for my betrothed, meaning after Kedushin. And why do I want to get? Because after I marry her fully, I want to divorce her with that get. Ain't no get. It's not a get. It's not why. What's the reason? He wrote the get. He's the husband. I want you to write a get for my wife now, after Ersin, and I'm going to give it after I fully marry her, after the chuppah. Why isn't it a get? Matam. Because they're going to say maybe she received the get before. Let's say he had relations with her. He says, after I marry her, let's say he has relations, so when does she conceive? After the chuppah. But if she received the get, now, what people are going to say? People are going to say that she conceived before the chuppah, before she was fully married. That means he had like an illicit relationship with her. So it doesn't reflect well for the child. Omer Rav Vaeira, Omer Rav Rashila, Omer Rav Amnuna, Saba, Omer Rav Agbo, Ada Baravo, Omer Rav. Haloch Rav Lozer. We rule like Rav Lozer that what? Eidei Mesira Karsi. We said this a number of times in the Masechta. What gives the get its validity? The witness is witnessing the transfer of the document from the husband to the wife. It's not the signatures. Kori Rav Alek the Rav Lozer Tovina the Chakamoy. Hear this? He referred to Rav Lozer Tovina the Chakimi. Here, he's the best of all the Chacham, Rav Lozer. That's what we rule like him. Va'afil b'shtoras nami. He says, you mean even by not only by get, even by ordinary documents, we rule like Rav Lozer. That what? That it's the Adam who witnessed the transfer, that gives it its validity. V'amar apab mishein derova hay ashrosa the daini. The michtwa mikamed lisset sadi. Achasimas yodayu psula. Okay, we're going to stop here.